So, for my presentation today, I'm going to be talking about high quality connections and respectful engagement. So first, let me move myself over here. Um, After doing the readings, I read how about a high quality connection pretty much can be defined as an interaction between you and another person that makes you feel a sense of vitality or aliveness and gives you more energy and just makes you feel more positive about yourself and having more confidence in yourself when having a conversation with somebody. And one of the things that goes along with a high quality connection is respectful engagement, which is about being there with others and supporting them and speaking to them and listening to them in a way that shows respect and appreciation for who they are as people, and vice versa of people talking to you. And it's just making others feel heard and noticed. So, for my mini experiment of high quality connections and respectful engagement, I was going to use my relationship with my boyfriend. His name is Landon, and one of the reasons why I wanted to use this is because we have a lot of high quality connections and we're also in a long distance relationship. So I think it would be easy to do an experiment when it's long distance and you're not actually in contact with each other like face to face, but over like FaceTime or text messages and calls, which is what we usually do. So for my experiment, I will be focusing on using respectful engagement during me and my boyfriend's FaceTime calls, which are usually at the end of the day. And I hope to gain from this, or to know that like the power of listening is very important when it comes to long distance, especially because long distance relationships and relationships that aren't long distance are two completely different things, and I've learned that from experience. And just being able to communicate in general is a big key when it comes to being in a long distance relationship. And also knowing that you are hearing and listening to each other and making each other feel heard and seen. One problem long distance has on me in my relationship with Landon would be getting caught up in our everyday lives and not leaving enough time to focus on each other and listening to each other. He is a full time contractor, and I obviously go to school along with an internship and working. So we don't really have a lot of time, which is why we usually talk at the end of the day. And just not leaving enough time for each other can result in a lot of arguments because it's just always a back and forth conversation on how we both feel that the other one isn't listening enough, or that the other person doesn't care or care to listen what the other one is saying to them. And this can especially be hard when all of your conversations are over FaceTime or calls or text. So, in order to implement this mini experiment, I plan to talk to Landon about how we can improve on being more active and listening to each other's conversations, especially over FaceTime. And I plan to talk to him about this before actually doing the experiment, so we're both aware of what the experiment is and how we're both acting about it. And I plan to also be more conscious of how I am reacting when he is talking to me and telling me about his day and what he is doing, and I hope he responds the same way, and making sure that I am responding to what he is saying and being engaged in the conversation and not being distracted while being on my phone, because FaceTime is on your phone. And hoping that my partner also tries to engage in this conversation that we are having, so it's not one-sided. I'm just the one talking and doing all of the work and he's still not engaging how he should be, or else this experiment will not be successful. The outcomes I hope to come out of this mini experiment would be being able to effectively communicate with him without feeling like he isn't listening to me, and also vice versa, and knowing that I am being seen and heard and listened to by my partner. And I hope this makes our relationship grow and makes the long distance more bearable and easier. I started this experiment just the other day on FaceTime about asking him, like, to be more open to respectful engagement and being more present in the conversation with each other, because a lot of the times we're doing other things and just not really listening to what the other one is saying. So the following night, we took turns talking about each other's day at work and school like we usually do. But I noticed I did stay off other apps on my phone and was actually giving 100% of my attention to him, because usually I'm like scrolling on Facebook or Instagram or something, and this time I didn't do that. I also noticed that I just didn't respond with one-word answers like or yeah, and I actually engaged in the conversation and asked him questions. And when it was my turn to speak about work and school, I noticed that my partner also engaged more in the conversation. He actually was doing stuff while we were on the phone, but he definitely was listening, and I could tell that he was responding to the conversation well. One insight I think I gained from this interaction would be that I gained a deeper understanding of what it feels like to be seen and heard from a different level. And me and my partner always talk on the phone, but being aware that we were using respectful engagement, it just really helped boost my confidence, and I think that it did his too after we talked about it. And I think we both met our objectives because we both communicated effectively with each other, and there were no one-word answers, like I said, just responding with yeah or just yes or no. And we both effectively listened to what the other one was saying and responded respectfully to make sure that each person felt heard. One insight I gained from this experiment would be that listening is a big part of relationships. Even if it's long distance or not, it's still a really big part, as well as communication. And I learned this from the TED Talk called The Power of Listening, which pretty much just explained that listening can have a huge impact on the person who you are talking to or who is talking to you. And people can gain a lot of confidence from this and feel a lot better about themselves knowing that someone is listening to what they're saying and that that person is actually caring about talking to the other person. One way I hope to use appreciative communication in the future is by talking and listening to more strangers who are talking to me and making them feel heard. And you just never know what anyone is going through, and making someone feel as though you are listening and they have someone that is listening to them and caring about what they're saying could help actually save a lot of people, because not everyone has somebody to talk to and make them feel that way. And I hope to gain a sense of power and confidence knowing that I can help people feel better about themselves, just by doing this simple act of kindness, just by listening and responding to them in a respectful manner. And this approach compares to the feedback loop and the appreciative inquiry mini experiment, because I'm using the discover, dream, design, and destiny approach, which is just I am discovering something that I want to fix about myself to help others and dreaming about what I could do to make this happen, as well as designing how to achieve this goal and making it my destiny to use this approach more in the future and have a positive impact on the lives of others.